Hi, third grade. Today we're going to be talking about sustainability, and this is going to be our first lesson in sustainability. I'm going to have two of them. So we hear a lot about the word sustainability. We hear that all the time, but a lot of times I'm not sure that we know what it means. So here I'm going to give you an example. So let's pretend that you have a candy jar. And each time you reach your hand into that candy jar and take out a handful of candy, more candy comes up from the bottom. It's a never ending candy jar. It always refills itself. That is a sustainable candy jar. That doesn't exist. So, when we talk about sustainability, we talk about something that you can use, but still it will be there for a long period of time. Instead of a candy jar, let's talk about the resources that we have on Earth. We have a lot of natural resources on Earth. We have coal and natural gas and oil and fresh water and salt water and wind and solar energy. And some of these resources are sustainable, some are less sustainable, and some of them we are coming to realize are not very sustainable at all because of the way that we are using them. So let's look at fresh water, for example. So there is a limited amount of fresh water on Earth. And while we know that there are some processes that can convert salinated water, salt water, into fresh water, it's a very long, very expensive process. So we know that on Earth, there is a limited amount of fresh water. So then we have to look at ourselves and look at the way we're using water and determine, are we using this in the most sustainable way? Are we using it in a way so that there will be fresh water for years and years to come? When we talk about that, we are talking about, are we using water in a way that doesn't damage it or destroy it? Because again, water, fresh water, isn't really something we make, right? And it can be damaged or destroyed if we use a lot of chemical fertilizers or pesticides. They seep into our groundwater and they damage our freshwater resources. Also, being wasteful with water. If we are leaving the faucet on when we're brushing our teeth and the water is just running and running and running, we're not using water very responsibly, right? Um, so, most of the time, when we talk about sustainability, we're talking about environmental sustainability. And that falls basically into three categories. The first is sustainable energy. So, sustainable energy is energy that we know, even if we use a lot of it, there's more out there. It can be used for a long time. Examples of that, obviously, solar energy. As long as the sun is shining, our solar panels can convert the sun's energy um, into energy for us to use on houses and businesses and all, street signs and stuff like that. Um, Wind energy, right? There are some places where the wind is always blowing, the wind turbines are always turning, which is creating energy. Sustainable forestry. We cut down a lot of trees. We usually are not sustainable when it comes to our usage of paper products and logging, but there are methods of sustainable selective logging and reforestation. And then the last thing that we're going to talk about is sustainable agriculture. This is changing the way that agriculture is done, mostly here in our country, but all over the world, where we are making good choices about water usage, about ground usage. Um, and so a lot of those things we're going to talk about later. But right now, I want to talk to you about little things that you can do to be more sustainable, whether it is being more sustainable in your home or at school or your parents' workplace, if you know what it's like at work. And I want you guys to come up with an idea, one idea. What is one thing that you could do to make your home or our school more sustainable? Um, it can be something related to sustainable forestry, maybe replanting. It can be sustainable energy. Maybe we should install solar panels on the roof of our school or your house. Or maybe it's something as simple as starting a compost bin or checking for recycling and increasing the amount of recyclables that you take to a recyclable center. Um, so I'm gonna, on the side of the slide today, there's gonna be instructions for how I want you to do your project, how to make my house more sustainable. I hope you guys have a great day.